Welcome, everybody, to your favorite JV girls hockey broadcast. Got
Good afternoon. Welcome to Lake
Shakopee Sabers versus the Westonka Southwest Christian.
Welcome to Shakopee Sabers and the Westonka Whitehawks.
Whitehawks.
For this junior varsity game, there will be no anthem. We'll do one before the varsity game. There'll be 15-minute stop time periods. We will resurface after the second period. Good luck to both teams. We're ready to start.
All right. If you couldn't understand the PA guy, we're not going to do the national anthem for the game. Sabers in white, technically the home team, heading from left to right on your TV screen. Anderson, John Shoy, Telejohn, Schuler, and Carlson on the ice. Carlson gets the boot for something. Must be missing a neck guard, I think. So Chloe Krisak hops on. And now we are ready to go. Puck drop and tied up at center. Quite a scrum. Puck ends up popping out to one of the Westonka skaters, but tied up with Anderson. Puck ends up on Telejohn's stick. And Telejohn drops it to John Shoy, and 13 seconds into the game, the Sabres have their first goal. That was a snipe from John Shoy. Nice drop pass from Telejohn, and Sabres are up 1-0, 13 seconds into the game. One might have caught the goalie by surprise. That line will stay put. Telejohn wins the draw. Puck comes. Telejohn into the zone, but John Shoy and Schuler all on the near side boards battling, along with three Whitehawks. Whitehawk skater comes away with it. She's going behind the net, trying to go out the far side, gets tied up by John Shoy and Anderson. Krisak steps in to hold the puck in momentarily, but it's cleared by the Whitehawks. Schuler will go back to get it. She'll come to the near side ice. Telejohn will put it deep. McNee and Tochek on the forecheck. Oh, I'm sorry, Addie Collins. Now McNee's on. That's Addie Collins right there, 22. She drops it to Chloe Krisak, takes a slapper, gets all the way through, far side to Jetta Barrick, chips it forward but hits a Whitehawk skate, and they'll clear the zone. That pass is too far for the Whitehawk skater. Krisak takes a good path to the puck, shields the Whitehawk skater away from it, but end up tied up on the boards behind the net. Addie Collins tries to wrap it around the near side boards, but Whitehawks hold it in. Trying to step into the middle, but nice poke check by Elena Tochek, and puck came out to center. Whitehawks dumped it in, but right onto Jetta Barrick's stick. She'll skate it out. Gets it up to Tochek. She was trying to go through the middle to Huberty. Lost control of the puck and couldn't exit the zone. McNeil put it backhanded up into center ice. Huberty does a good job battling for the puck. Whitehawks eventually clear, and it's back out to the center ice. Barrick retreats into the defensive zone, goes off the near side boards, trying to get it to Knutson, but Whitehawks cut it out. Schuler behind the net goes up the boards to Luth. Whitehawks were changing, so Sabres had a little bit of room there, but couldn't take advantage of it. Schuler will wheel. Fanned on the first attempt and then got a backhand. Luth comes over, tied up on the boards along with Schuler. Whitehawks come out of there with it, but puck ends up right to Krisak. She gets it to Knutson. She fires one from beyond the blue line, and very casual save by the goalkeeper. Telejohn off the bench with a lot of steam. Anderson also up there. Anderson gets knocked down, but Krisak holds it in, ends up on Telejohn's stick. She gets a shot that goes between the legs of the defender. Anderson gets a shot, gets two shots First one got saved, second one missed. Telejohn on the puck, tries to drop it back to Barrick, but Whitehawk skater saw that one coming, intercepted it, and managed to get it out of the zone down the ice. Barrick pinned against the boards, ends up coming around the near side to Telejohn. She goes cross ice to Anderson. She's going to lose the race to it. Whitehawks go off the far side boards and ends up on McNee's stick. Addie Collins now with the puck. Comes into the zone. Nice drag. End up making a full circle around the Whitehawk defender. Jetta with a wrister. Got stick saved by the Whitehawk goalie. Couldn't cover it though. The rebound came out. Now Tocek on the puck. Good battle there. She tries to dump it deep. Gets it off the boards, but not all the way deep. That's going to be an ice on the Whitehawks. We'll get our first stoppage. 10:40 into the first. So goal in 13 seconds for the Sabres, and then since then things have evened out a little bit. Shots on goal 4-0, although the scoreboard has it backwards. We'll give them a break. Schuler steps in, gets knocked down, but holds the puck in. McNee and Addie Collins also over there.
Get to that internet cord here. I think there's one here, isn't there?
If you heard a little background noise, that is the next game set up, making me relocate. Whitehawks will skate that one out. Cam Carlson back in the game. Forces the puck wide and pins the Whitehawks skater against the boards. Huberty comes out of there with it. Up to McNee, who's taking her time and couldn't get rid of the puck before she was shut down. Ends up on Carlson's stick. Her backhand gets partially deflected. McNee gets it out up the near side boards. Huberty giving chase, but Whitehawks are on it. They're going to go cross ice. That is intercepted by Esslinger. He comes into the zone with some speed. Wrister got past the goalie, but was a little bit wide. Barrick tries to hold that in and cannot. Sabres touch up. Cross ice pass, partially cut out. Krisak got a stick on it, but still popped over her stick. Barrick now back, skating around back of the net. Whitehawks will fire it around. Esslinger's going to retreat and pick it up. She's going up to Knutson. Can't handle the puck. It was a little bit behind her. Whitehawks dump it back in deep. Krisak giving chase. Wins the race to the puck. Esslinger does a nice stick lift, and the puck ends up cleared out to center ice. Out to the Whitehawks dump it off the far side boards deep. Nobody's there. Krisak retreats and gets it up to Esslinger. First pass got blocked. The second one ends up on John Choi's stick. She goes to Knutson. She tries to go near side and hits the post. Nice little 2-on-1 there for the Sabres. Good puck movement, just couldn't finish. Managed to hold it into the zone. Schuler's got some space, steps into a wrister. Hit a Whitehawk defender and bounced down. Goalie was able to cover. So 8:25 now left in the first. Still 1-0. Sabres, a couple good opportunities since then. Whitehawks win the draw, but Schuler manages to hold it in to the zone. She backhands it down the boards. John Choi down there giving chase. The Whitehawks get it up and not quite out, and now out. Anderson tied up the puck momentarily, but Whitehawk defender flips it up. Sabres can't hold it in. Carlson's going to skate it in herself. Comes all the way across the ice, and she gets checked down. They'll touch up, and the first power play of the game will go to the Sabres. 7:48 left, and the Sabres will be on the power play for 2 minutes for hooking. Number 9 for Westonka in the box. Power play is Collins, McNee, Tocek, Krisak, and Barrick. We only have one Krisak on the ice at the moment. I think Cam is probably suiting up for varsity. Might see her in the third. First shot gets deflected. Going to head all the way down the ice. Nicely sticked aside by Quinn. Very alertly, just being safe. Barrick having some trouble getting the puck out, but eventually gets it cross ice. Nice pass from Krisak up the boards to McNee. She'll drive it to the net. Goes off the side of the net. Tocek ends up with it, goes back to Barrick. Now back down to Tocek. Manages to get around the Westonka defender. Oh, early whistle costs the Sabres a goal. It was not covered, and I think Tocek ended up knocking it in the net, but ref had blown the whistle, so that one will not count on the scoreboard. Counts in our hearts, though. Addie Collins taking the face-off. Same 5 skaters. Krisak cross ice to Barrick. She's going to step into a wrister. Hits the goalie in the head. She didn't see that one coming at all. Krisak's going to step up, hold the puck in. Tocek now giving chase. Whitehawks try to go around the far side of the boards, but McNee is there to hold it in. Collins ends up with the puck. She trying to get it to McNee. Steps into and through a couple of defenders. McNee's shot got saved. Tocek had the rebound, and goalie made a nice kick save. Whitehawks finally get the puck out. And they are at full strength. No, 35 seconds left in the penalty. Schuler up the ice. That's deflected into the zone. John Choi's on the ice by herself on the forecheck as Sabres were changing. There's Telejohn battling for the puck. Whitehawks whiff, trying to clear, but the second one gets all the way down the ice. 15 seconds left in the power play. That might be it for scoring opportunities for the Sabres. Schuler spins and goes out the far side. Up to Carlson, over to Anderson, through the middle to John Choi. She stick handles past one of the Whitehawk defenders, but can't get the second one. That is the end of the penalty. A couple of good opportunities for the Sabres, but no goals. Telejohn trying to exit the middle pass, but nobody there. Whitehawks managed to hold it in. They dump it down the boards. That one comes out to Anderson, gets it. Schuler is going to dump it deep. That one will be iced. So we'll get 5 new skaters for the Sabres. 5:20 left in the first. Shots are now 9-0. Scoreboard operator trying to get it on the right side, and looks like he's figuring it out. Or she. Puberty on the draw. Krisak, Knutson, Luth on the ice. Iced again, so we'll come back and try it again. Same face-off circle, near side. Knutson, Huberty, Luth, Krisak, and Barrick. Huberty on the draw. Puck is tied up. A couple of Sabre skaters try to crash, but Whitehawks come out of there with it, manage to dump it deep. Barrick comes out of there with it. She's going to skate it out herself. Whitehawk defender steps in and deflects the puck into the Sabre bench before Barrick can exit the zone. So going to end up, we'll try a different face-off circle. Far side. Nicely done there by Aubrey Smith. Enters the game for the first time. I think there were some equipment issues there, so she missed a little bit of the first period, but she's back in action. So Sabres have had a couple of skaters that missed some time for whatever reason, equipment or otherwise. Carlson off the near side boards, up and out, but Sabres unable to maintain possession. Collins does a nice job cutting out the Whitehawk clearance, and puck ends up in the offensive zone. Knutson gets a backhand on it. Clearance from Westonka finds a little bit of space on the far side. Number 17 for them will dump it deep, but Carlson first to the puck, but couldn't control it. Backhand that's easily sticked aside by Vanesti. Tochek's going to skate it up. Backhands it around the Westonka defender and then gives chase. She tries to backhand it past her, but nobody's up there with her, and Westonka has exit. Collins takes a hack at the skater, and it's a little bit of a lackadaisical transition for the Sabers that allowed the Westonka skater to walk right in, but Vanesti was in good position, put down the angle nicely. She was well outside the crease and doesn't give up a rebound. Nice hustle by Tochek to poke it out of the zone there. Westonka tries to change off the far side. Held up nicely. Collins is going to win the race to the puck. She goes off the boards. McNee gets it. She's driving the net. Tries the wraparound. She can't turn the backhand, but it ends up on Anderson's stick. She backhand drops it to Schuler, whose wrister gets kicked aside. Puck bounces nicely for the Sabers. Ends up on Anderson's stick, but can't get a shot off, and the Whitehawk goalie dives and covers. So John Shoy Telejohn onto the ice along with Anderson, getting that line sort of back to normal. Smith and Barrick at the defensive spots. Sabres win the draw. Anderson goes back to Barrick. Nice stick handling to evade the pressure, and she dumps it deep. Puck is up the far side boards. John Shoy does a nice job chasing it down. Drops it to Smith, who's going to go back down the boards. Ends up on John Shoy's stick, and her shot got partially deflected. That slowed it down so that it didn't cause the goalie too much trouble. 2:51 left in the first. John Shoy wins the draw. Westonka skater ends up getting a stick on it. Smith cross ice to Barrick, and Barrick didn't have enough time to do much with the puck, but Telejohn comes back to help. Now the Whitehawks will skate it up and out of the zone. They were offsides there. Smith made some contact with the skater late, and she crashed into her own teammate, and they both fell pretty hard. Faceoff's going to come out to the neutral zone, far side circle. Same 5 skaters for the Sabres, 2:33 left now. John Shoy wins the draw nicely to Smith. She goes cross ice, but a little too far for Barrick to handle. Eventually gets up to Telejohn. She's battling a couple of Whitehawk skaters, trying to get the puck deep. It's kind of kicked around there for a while. Barrick ends up going down the boards. Gets tipped, so there's they call icing there. I didn't think there was one there, but must not have touched it. So it was a herky-jerky shift for that group, so we'll try some new skaters. Huberty, Knutson, Esslinger, Carlson, and Chloe Krisak. Krisak ends up with the puck pinned to the near side boards. Huberty over there helping. Carlson starting to drift. Esslinger comes out of there momentarily with the puck. Centering pass, Knutson can't get a stick on it. And Westonka ends up controlling. Knutson lifts the stick. She got a penalty for something similar in the last game, but the ref let that one go. Exit up the far side. Nice stick by Knutson. And good hustle there. She manages to prevent the Westonka exit. Nicely done by Huberty. Gets the puck to Knutson, and she scores. That was just good hustle by that line right there. I mean, Knutson ended up getting the goal, and she was the one who started it with some just aggressive play in the defensive zone. Poked it out, and then skated her as hard as she could down the ice and managed to sort of hold up the Westonka exit, and the result of that, after a couple of passes, is a goal. So it's nice to see her get rewarded for hard work. Tends to be how it works. Tochek comes out of there now.
Number 34, Faith Huberty. Knutson from Huberty for the Sabres at 13:36.
So Knutson from Huberty if you heard the PA guy. Carlson now on the puck. Her cross-ice pass is deflected.
1 minute.
We've got 1 minute left. Tonka with the puck in the Shakopee defensive zone. Putting a little pressure on. Starting to look a little more dangerous. Got a couple of skaters that can move a little bit, finding some space. Krisak got held up. Quinn Vanesti makes a nice pad save. Rebound almost snuck through. That passes behind McNee from Addie Collins, and nobody gets a touch on it. So it's going to go all the way down the ice for an icing. 30 seconds left. We'll get fresh skaters. Anderson, Telejohn, John Shoy, Smith, and Schuler. Faceoff is tied up. Smith comes out of there with a nice cross-ice pass to Telejohn. She can't hold on to it, but eventually runs the puck down. She goes through the middle to Anderson. Puck ends up on her stick eventually. Her shot got deflected, and goalie managed to make the save and eventually cover. Ref was a little slower with the whistle that time, which we appreciate after the first one. 18 seconds now. Near side, circling the offensive zone. John Shoy on the draw. Wins it to Telejohn, but aggressive play from Westonka manages to hold it up. Schuler goes deep with it. John Shoy's going to get there, about 10 seconds left. She tries the wraparound, and it's in! So she throws it out in front of the net. It, I think, hit a skate from one of the Whitehawk defenders and just kind of trickled in. So John Shoy gets her second of the day. I think Schuler will get the assist for that one. 6.5 seconds left, and now the Sabres are up 3-0. Puck tied up. John Shoy comes out of there with it. She steps into a shot, fires it right into Telejohn's behind. They get a kick out of that. So 1 minute break at the first intermission. 3-0 Sabre lead.
Single assist to number 19, Avery Schuler. John Shoy from
Oh, sorry. For those of you who were paying attention, Mike Vanesti and I are realizing that the camera guy might have caused the live barn feed to get lost. So, my apologies. First minute of the second period. Sabres traveling left to right with a 3-0 lead. Have the puck in the offensive zone. Schuler on the puck, along with Huberty, Krisak. Oh, I'm sorry, defensive zone. Wow, I'm all out of sorts. Sabres going right to left. Knutson brings the puck into the offensive zone. She'll drive the net. Backhand, nice save by the Westonka keeper. Good move by Knutson, and Westonka comes out of there with some speed. She gets pushed wide. Bad angle shot goes wide, doesn't trouble Vanesti. There's going to be a hooking penalty. I think Aubrey Smith is going to get that one, potentially. So Westonka is going to get their first power play of the game. Carlson stays on the ice. She's going to be joined by Barrick, McNee, and Tochek. Sabres taking their time getting the lineup set.
All right, John's been called the Sabres, number 24, Aubrey Smith. Good news for hooking. Smith off for hook time. That now be a 1-on-1.
Westonka wins the draw. McNee was in great position and managed to block the shot. Tochek blocks that pass. She's now giving chase. Ties up the entry, and Barrick helps her out. Can't quite get it out yet. Westonka backhands it behind the net. Carlson gets there first, but gets bodied off the puck. Puck right out in front. Vanesti made a nice first save. Puck popped right up in the air. Ended up going towards the far side post and getting batted around a little bit there, but Vanesti eventually covered. 1:23 left on the penalty. We'll get 4 new skaters. Krisak, Schuler, Telejohn, and Anderson on the ice. Faceoff is won, and Krisak dumps it deep. Anderson giving chase. Can't quite make it there on time. Westonka's going to fire the puck up the ice. Nice cross-ice pass, but Westonka forward couldn't hold on to it. Schuler pins her against the boards, holds her up momentarily. Nice pass down towards the end line, but the shot goes wide. Krisak fires the puck deep again. Anderson giving chase again. This time it's easily caught by the Westonka skater, but she fired it right at Schuler. Puck comes out to center. Anderson gets it deep. That's going to kill a few more seconds. Those 4 skaters will go for a change. A little bit of space for Westonka. Nice pass up to number 9. It's one of their speedier skaters. Trying to take the puck wide, but Esslinger holds her up momentarily. Puck popped out right out in front. Westonka couldn't get a shot out off. Everybody has their stick back, and Huberty eventually fires it down the ice. That'll kill the penalty. So a couple of good opportunities for Westonka, but Vanesti was up to the challenge.
Sabres full strike.
Clearance pass through the neutral zone ends up getting tied up. Knutson got a stick on it before she blew a tire, but Sabres managed to get the puck deep in the zone. Barrick steps up and chips it deep. Knutson, good physical play there. Esslinger holds up the exit, and Carlson puts it deep off the boards behind the net. Knutson working really hard back there today. Collins prevents the exit, forces the change of direction. A couple spins by the Westonka skater, eventually get the exit. Their skater can't hold on to the puck, loses it. Oh, that's unfortunate. Carlson was going to be all by herself. The Westonka was changing, and she had a full head of steam, so they're going to get a tripping penalty on Tonka, and the Sabres will go back on the power play. That would have been 1-on-0 for Cam Carlson if that penalty would not have taken place, but instead we will go on the power play. 11:03 left in the second. McNee, Collins, Tochek, Schuler, and Krisak on the power play. Puck goes back to Krisak. She goes cross ice to Schuler. Her wrister is saved by the Westonka goalie. Collins and McNee with a little give and go before the puck getting back to Schuler. She tries a wrister that hits the defender in the body. Tochek tries to get it back to Krisak. Puck was bouncing and bounced over her stick. So Krisak goes back to Schuler, who goes up to McNee. She trying to backhand it into the zone, but got tied up right as she was doing it. Westonka tries to change directions, going from the far side to the near side to get it out the zone, but Shakopee was up to the challenge. Schuler throws it towards the net. Puck was on the ground and easily cut out. Nice move by Westonka. She's in on Vanesti. Vanesti, great position and saved the puck high off the shoulder on the glove side. She was hugging that near post nicely. That's where the skater was going for. Exit pass from Schuler, a little bit too far for Tochek. We'll get an icing. Switch out the skaters for the Sabers. Just under 10 minutes left in the second. Shots on goal starting to even out a little bit now. 16-9 in favor of the Sabers. Was 14-2 at one point, so John Shoy, Barrick, Telejohn Anderson, and Aubrey Smith. Barrick skating it out, gets tied up, loses the puck. Anderson covering for her. Puck ends up weakly headed towards the net, and Aubrey Smith runs it down. Her pass off the boards is too far for Anderson, and Westonka holds it in. Puck ends up in front. Vanesti was reaching for it and couldn't get the first one, but managed to get the second one. So some sloppy play by the Sabres. Exiting the zone in the second period is giving the Whitehawks a couple of opportunities. John Shoy on the draw. Been neglecting my stat sheet. John Shoy's 2 goals give her 7 for the year. Puck finally exits. Telejohn is one stride behind the center line as she dumps it deep, and we're getting an icing call. We're going to come back down. Anyway, John Shoy scored number 6 and 7 for the year, and Knutsen's was her 7th to go along with 7 assists. So 14 points for Knutsen, one of the leaders. Faceoff is won by John Shoy, ends up on Barrick's stick. She backhands it around the boards. Anderson with a nice pass up to Smith. She's got plenty of room to skate. She was looking for the pass to Telejohn, but Westonka was in good position. Puck ended up getting fired across the ice. Cross ice pass goes over the stick, ends up getting backhanded down. Anderson's giving chase. She puts the brakes on, comes out the near side. Her and Smith have swapped places for a minute. Nice exit pass from Smith to Telejohn. She's trying to dump it deep. Eventually gets there off a shin pad, and Sabres will go for the 5-skater change. Plenty of ice for Westonka if they want to take advantage of it, and actually a really nice pass off the boards up to number 9. She's one of the more dangerous skaters for the Whitehawks, but she got tied up. Huberty comes out of there with it, goes far side to Luth, who can't handle it. Puck held in by the Whitehawks. Luth tries again, can't get it out the zone. That is... Huberty got tied up with number 9. The Whitehawk faithful wanted a penalty. Not going to get it. Knutsen ends up with the puck. She tries to backhand it out of the zone. That pass to Knutsen was a little bit behind her. Knutsen, Huberty, and Carlson all over there. Puck just kind of stuck on the near boards. Finally poked out by the Whitehawks. Carlson retreats to go get it. She's got a couple of Whitehawks on her back. She backhands it behind the net to Krisak. Her pass to Knutsen is behind her, but manages to clear the zone. Knutsen's backhand dump in didn't have a lot on it, got picked off. Whitehawks lose the puck. Carlson steps up to get it. Puck kicked around a little bit in the neutral zone. Ends up entering the zone. Carlson trying to skate it out, gets picked. pass from Krisak to Collins. I don't think she was expecting it. So turnover, puck goes back to the Whitehawks. Pressure from Tocek. Exit ends up cut out by Krisak. Collins is wheeling. She's trying to skate it through the zone. She gets her pocket picked. So some nice backhand from bad angle doesn't get on net. Mineski was in good position anyway. Puck fired deep. That's going to be an icing. But Sabres are getting a little sloppy, as previously mentioned. Too much skating with the puck. Need to distribute. There's a lot of space, but yep. Mike Mineski accurately pointing out that we often have a little bit of a lackadaisical second period, and this appears to fit that pattern. John Shoy, McNee, and Tocek on the ice. McNee comes out of there with the puck. John Shoy, nice toe drag, drives the near side net. Puck ended up hitting the side of the net. Smith steps in to hold the puck in. Tocek will take her place. Westonka pins her against the glass, and they go up the boards but not out. Tocek nicely holds the puck in. John Shoy over there. Now Smith back in her defensive spot. Puck ends up coming out to neutral, but John Shoy does a good job retrieving it. She steps in and scores. That's a hat trick for her. I think that shot might have hit a defender's stick and either went bar down or hit the bar in the back of the net. Much like the first one, except over the other shoulder. That was blocker side. So she's got her third of the day, which gets her to 8 goals on the season. 5:55 left in the second, and a 4-0 Shakopee lead.
Number 10, Catherine John Shoy.
Telejohn,
Single assist to number 8.
Anderson,
Elena
Addie
Tocek.
Collins on the ice,
John
along
Shoy
with
on her hat trick.
Barrick and
Tocek, time that
Carlson.
Sabres goal 9:05.
Carlson wheeling, comes up the ice to Anderson. She tries to chip it up to Addie Collins, but Collins tied up. Telejohn comes over to help. Anderson eventually gets it deep, rings it around the boards. Whitehawks are first to the puck, but 2 Sabres down there holding the puck up. Collins comes out of there with it. She's trying to come out the near side. Got tied up and lost the puck. Whitehawks have some room to skate. Going to backhand it deep. Carlson will be first to the puck. Oh, she was a little beyond center ice, and that ends up being an icing call. So 5:04 left in the second. Line change for the Sabres. Esslinger, Knutson, Huberty in, just changing the forwards. The defenders stay the same, Carlson and Barrick. Huberty on the draw. Went for the backhand, but lost the draw. Whitehawks try to go up the far side, but Sabres able to cut it out. Whitehawks end up going back behind their own goal to exit. That cross-ice pass misses everybody, but it's going to die. Icing gets waved. Barrick is first to the puck. Slams on the brakes and comes back out near side. Goes up the boards to Knutson, who goes cross-ice to Esslinger. There's some nice crisp passing there. Esslinger into the zone. Poke check there. Puts a stop to that little counterattack momentarily, but Knutson back on the puck. Driving towards the goal. Got a nice shot that got saved. The rebound went wide. Carlson with the puck goes cross ice to Krisak. Now up to Esslinger. She tries to chip it into the zone, but cut out by the Whitehawks. Krisak retreats in the neutral zone to hit the puck. She's got plenty of space and just skates it into the zone. Good shot by Chloe. Oh, gosh. Goalie freezes it. Didn't know where it was. As soon as the whistle blew, it kind of leaked out. Rolled across the crease. John Shoy, McNee, and Tocek on the ice. Krisak and Schuler at the defensive spots. Whitehawks clear, goes over Krisak's stick. Schuler back to retrieve the puck. Nice pass from McNee to John Shoy. She's trying to get it deep cross ice, but it gets cut out by number 24. That gets held in nicely by Schuler. Puck ends up getting wristed in just wide. McNee on the puck, trying to get it to Tochek. Can't quite do it. John Troy keeps it in the zone, goes off the boards. Puck ends up on net. A couple of opportunities saved by the White Hawk goalie. Puck ends up back with Smith and Schuler. Puck ended up kind of in Schuler's feet, and White Hawk's able to close down the space and eventually get it deep. Puck goes just past the outstretched stick of Smith. Her pass is into the skates of Tochek and ends up getting just kind of trickling down the ice, but good pressure by McNee, and then Smith ends up holding the puck in the zone. Collins with a very physical play. Puck ends up on Anderson's stick. Her forehand didn't have a lot of juice on it, got saved, but not frozen. Puck gets chipped back in. Westonka trying to go out the far side, can't do it. Addie Collins comes out of there. She backhands it up to Anderson, who can't get around the Westonka check, and puck pops out to Smith, who goes back in the zone. Anderson and Telejohn trying to hold up the exit, can't do it, and Westonka with some open ice in the neutral zone. 55 cuts inside, cuts back outside, leaves the pass for number 9, who goes down the boards. Carlson gets it off the boards up to Telejohn. Couldn't get control of the puck. It was kind of behind her, dragging. She couldn't get it out of there, but eventually does. She ties up the Westonka skater. That pass goes through the skates. Anderson on the forecheck manages to hold onto the puck. It got kicked around. Huberty came off the bench, and puck ended up right on her stick in the slot. She got a nice shot off, but ended up just a little bit wide. Krisak steps in, holds up the exit. Anderson with a little bit of space. Can't get the shot off quickly enough, so the puck ends up hitting a skate. Huberty is going to be first to the puck. She tries to center it, but hits a skate and ends up coming out. Knutson took an aggressive effort to hold the puck in, and it succeeded momentarily. That backhand is going to get out of the zone. There's no Saber skater really close.
Last minute play in the second period, 1 minute.
Carlson with a nice stick to poke the puck away from the entry. Sabres are trying to go off the near side boards with too much traffic down there. Puck ends up getting kicked back. Huberty lost the stick, but Carlson finds enough space, gets a nice cross-ice pass up to Luth. Couldn't hold it the first time, but manages to stay on the puck. 30 seconds left. Knutson's got it. She'll go back to Smith. She steps into a shot, hit a defender's stick and went wide harmlessly. Down to 20 seconds now. John Troy on the puck. She'll drop it back to Smith. Smith got tied up. Puck ends up on John Troy's stick again. She tries to go 5-hole. Can't get it. 7 seconds left. She tries the wraparound. Puck was loose in the crease, but managed to be cleared momentarily by Westonka, and that'll be the end of the second period. So a little bit sloppy from the Sabres in the second, but end up getting another goal. Don't give up any, and they'll go into the second intermission up 4-0. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Puck drop for the third. Refs are excited to get out of here. Opportunity immediately for Westonka. Vanesti makes a nice save. Rebound kicked out. Goes to Anderson. She'll skate it in. Gets it deep. Gets run into the boards, but Telejohn ends up on or near the puck behind the net. John Choi wraparound hit the post. She was looking for number 4. Krisak fires it all the way across the ice. Goes to John Choi. She'll spin towards the center of the ice. Lays it back to Krisak. She goes back to Schuler. D to D. Puck hit Telejohn's stick and killed it, and then Anderson had a shot at it. Krisak fans on the shot attempt. Schuler was there to cover for her. Schuler will retreat and pick up the puck. She can skate it out if she wants. She ends up going off the boards. Anderson goes through the middle to Telejohn. Ends up eventually turning the puck over. Westonka gets a shot, bouncing puck on net, but Vanesti in a good spot again. Addie Collins on the ice. I'm sorry, that's not Addie Collins. That is Ella Rampart. So she's in for the third period, along with Telejohn and Knutson at the moment. Tonka skater kind of walks in. That's about the third or fourth time that's happened. The shot got deflected before it got to Vanesti. Knutson was stepping into the middle, and Rampart had to step outside to cover for her. The wrister goes wide. So puck in the defensive zone quite a bit to start. Number 9's skating cross ice with it. She's got some room. Ends up losing the puck. Spins nicely. Trying to center it, but can't do that. Rampart picks it up. She'll go up the boards looking for Knutson, but Knutson loses the race to it. Krisak gets there. She can't clear. Shot from the face-off circle, gloved easily by Vanesti, and will get a stoppage at 12:42. Cam Krisak on the ice for the first time, along with Cam Carlson, Tocek, Esslinger, and Luth. Tocek playing center. So it looks like Cam, Krisak, and Rampart are both doing their one period of JV before they go play varsity. Nice cross-ice pass from Krisak to Esslinger, but Esslinger can't hold on to the pass, and it ends up all the way down the ice for an icing, so come back and try it again. 12:23 left in the third. Sabers traveling left to right. Face off in the defensive zone, far side circle. Tocek on the face off again, wins the draw nicely. Carlson on the puck. She goes behind the net. Skates it out of there nicely. Shields the puck nicely. Eventually gets taken out by a Tonka defender who was just kind of holding her ground. Cam couldn't get around her. Puck tied up behind the net again. Whoa, that puck bounced really high off a deflection, and Vanesti had to drop down and block her or get a leg on it. The rebound was just kind of sitting there for a second. Sabres will change all 5 skaters. John Choi, Smith, Anderson, and Huberty on the ice. Huberty up to Anderson. She cuts into the middle. She's got a little space. Tries to get it to her backhand and can't. She got shut down pretty quickly. Puck goes up the near side boards. Schuler steps in to hold it in. Westonka has too much space. They end up coming out of there with the puck. Huberty back on D. She was covering. John Choi steps in and gets a stick on puck loose in front again. Anderson tries to skate through there with it, can't get it. Puck goes off the boards, cleared out to center ice. Anderson giving chase, can't get there. John Choi cut it out, but puck ends up in the middle of the ice, and backhanded shot deflected, so didn't have a lot of steam on it, and Vanesti able to cover easily. So Tonka coming out with a little more gas in the tank in the third period. Sabres look a little disinterested would be a good way of saying it. Rampart wins the draw. Back to Krisak. She goes behind the net to her sister, who goes up the boards looking for Telejohn, who chips it out. Knutsen's going to win the race to that, and she'll have a one-on-one with the keeper. Goalie saves it. She tried to deke back to her forehand, and the goalie got the pad down, managed to stuff it and stop the rebound. So good opportunity for the Sabres, but Whitehawk goalie was up to the task. Managed to keep the score at 4-0. 10:52 left in the third. Rampart on the draw. Rampart tied up. Puck ends up going on a Westonka stick. They couldn't get it clear, though. Rampart doing a good job on the forecheck. Oh, she gets boarded hard. No call there. Clearance gets cut out by Chloe Krisak. She goes off the boards to Knutsen, who gets bodied off the puck, and Westonka's out into the neutral zone and into their attacking zone. Rister is wide. Krisak goes up the boards to Telejohn. Puck for Knutsen ends up too far for her, but Knutsen ends up winning the race to the puck, and she makes up for the last one by shelving one high on the glove side, and that is her second of the day, the 5th for the Sabres. So all the goal scoring is John Choi and Knutsen. That is Knutsen's 8th of the season. She scored number 7 earlier. She's up to 15 points, which I think ties her for the lead, depending on who got all the assists today.
Serves the Sabres, her second goal, game number 20, Lauren Knutsen. Single assist to number 32, Cam Krisak. Knutsen on her second from Krisak, tied that goal 4:47.
Westonka quickly back on the attack. Carlson's exit to Luth cut out. Luth does a nice job blocking the shot, and the puck comes out to center ice. Westonka's off. Tried to go cross ice off the far side boards, and the puck kind of trickled into the zone. Tocek on the draw, comes all the way across to the near side boards. No Sabre really skating for it, and Tonka manages to get it deep. Smith plays it nicely off the boards, but her pass to Luth was a little bit too far, but Westonka ended up shooting it right at Tocek's stick, and she cut it out. She tries the no-angle shot. Goalie manages to hold on to it, and we'll get a stoppage. .9:26 left in the third. John Choi, Huberty, Anderson, Schuler, and Chloe Krisak. John Choi directing traffic before the faceoff, basically told Huberty exactly where she was going to put the puck and then did it. Huberty got a shot off, but it ended up getting blocked by a Westonka defender. Shot gets all the way through on Vanesti. She's quick with the leg save, manages to kick it out. Number 9 doing good work for Westonka. Her centering pass goes all the way through the middle. Chloe Krisak had tied up the Westonka skater. Huberty trying to exit but can't quite do it. John Choi with the physical play. She comes out of there with the puck. I don't know how that wasn't offsides, but it was not. Anderson with a really hard collision. And then she dumped somebody else. She's lucky she didn't get a penalty there, but Tonka dumps the puck in deep. Chloe Krisak retrieves. Stops like she's changing direction and then goes back the way she came. Anderson can't get the puck out of her skates, gets tripped. Now Krisak behind the net with it. She goes to Huberty, but the puck is in her skates. Finally pops out to center. Anderson gets it. She's probably going to, she tries to chip it deep. She had a long shift. Tonka gets it up, but not too far up. Carlson goes back to Telejohn. That was like a bunch of bowling pins. Telejohn, Rampart, and 2 of the Whitehawk skaters all go down. Puck ends up deep in the Sabre defensive zone. Knutsen will come out of there with it. She's going to wheel and fire near side boards. Going for Telejohn. That's going to end up getting iced. 7:42 left in the third. Rampart, Telejohn, Knutsen, Cam Krisak, and Cam Carlson on the ice. Rampart on the draw. She wins. Face off. Carlson goes back to retrieve. Immediately tied up. Rampart goes to help her out, but she loses the puck too. Centering effort gets sticked aside by Vanesti, and then Rampart, then Knutson managed to skate it out. Knutson trying to dump it deep, fired it hard into the bench. It ended up hitting one of the Westonka players who appears to be their injured goalie in the shoulder. So, sign of a good goalie. She stops the puck even when she's not in the game. Don't think she was expecting that one. Finger on the shoulder, but she appears no worse for the wear. Tocek, Esslinger, and Luth into the game. Puck backhanded into the zone. Esslinger steps in front of that pass. Tries to drag the defender, but can't quite get through. Westonka trying to exit and having all sorts of issues. Puck hit their own skate. Now it's tied up at center. Esslinger comes out of there with it. It's just some real ugly hockey right now, so hopefully we can complete a pass or two here. And we got one. Krisak up to Luth, and then Tocek. Cross-ice pass goes through Esslinger and one of the Tonka skaters. Carlson retrieves. Her pass doesn't have enough steam to get out of the zone, picked off. Bad angle shot, stopped easily by Vanesti. She's been up to the task all day. Esslinger with some space to skate it out. She loses the puck. Again, defender held her ground nicely. She's battling well on the near side boards. Three Sabers can't hold it in. Puck ends up going back out to Smith. She fired it into Anderson's skates. Got kicked into the zone, and then John Troy, with an aggressive forecheck, ends up holding it in momentarily. She'll force a change of direction, and Tonka tries to go out the far side. They get it up, but not out. Anderson managed to hold it in there. Now puck deflects. They're back behind the net. They go far side again, but Huberty backhands it behind the net. John Troy with pressure. Schuler's going to step up and manage to... Oh, she missed the puck. Anderson trying to hold it in, backhands it up the boards nicely. John Troy, the pressure, doesn't want to commit a penalty. Schuler steps into a wrister. Might have had the goalie beat, but went a little bit wide. Smith plays it back around the net. John Troy is going to end up on that one. Thought she was going to center it. Huberty was open for a minute there, but she chipped it back behind the net. Huberty ties up one of the Tonka skaters. Anderson back in, passes it back to Smith. Stepped into a wrister that got all the way through. Backhanded centering pass got deflected right past Anderson's stick. Couldn't quite make it all the way to Telejohn. Now we're back out to center ice. Westonka is going to go for a change. Nice stick work there. Poked the puck away. Anderson gets tied up on the near side boards. Rampart onto the ice. And Telejohn coming off the bench with a head of steam. Could have been maybe... Oh, that's going to be a hook. Probably could have called too many men on the ice there. The puck hit Anderson crawling over the boards while we already had 5 skaters on the ice. Ended up popping into the zone, and Westonka got a hooking penalty at 4:40. So Sabres will go on the power play. They'll leave the 5 skaters on the ice out. That'll be Knutson, Rampart, Telejohn, and the Krisak twins. Rampart ties up the draw. Puck it and kicked around.
2 minutes for hooking. O'Heller not for hook.
They end up... Tonka ends up able to clear. Krisak goes back to retrieve. Gets it kind of stuck in her skates a little bit. Gets it over to her sister. Going to skate it up the ice. She's got a head of steam and a little bit of space. Just to get a shot off. It goes a little bit wide. Knutson will get the rebound, though. She mohawks. Looked like she was going to drop it back to the D, but decided not to. Good choice. Ended up back on Krisak's stick. Her wrister got deflected and easily cleared. Puck goes off the boards behind the net. Vanesti plays it with her stick, gives it up to Chloe Krisak. She tries to go cross ice to Knutson. Hit a shin pad and bounced back behind the net. So Krisak bringing it up the ice again. She's got some space. She leaves it for Knutson, who steps into one. That goes wide on the near side. Quite a bit wide. I think she was looking for the deflection. Puck gets cleared, ends up on Telejohn's stick, and Krisak steps into a wrist or a slapper that goes wide. Rampart getting chased, manages to hold the puck in the zone. Eventually gets fired deep. Whitehawk faithful did not like the lack of too many call. That was twice that has happened, and refs haven't called it. They may be just letting this one go for the most part. Centering effort from Carlson ends up deflected back to Luth. Her shot got all the way through, but goalie managed to save it. Carlson driving towards the middle. She'll go back to Luth again. She's got Rampart if she wants her, and she drops the puck to her. It was a little too far out in front, so Rampart took a minute to gather. She tries to go near side. Goalie managed to save. That's the end of the penalty. Rampart goes for a change. Carlson dumps it back in. Knutson gets it. She's going to wheel towards the middle of the ice. Tocek in good position. That backhand ended up right, hitting the goalie right in the center of the stomach, and she covered it. So 2:22 left in the third. We've got Tocek, Luth, Esslinger, Smith, and Cam Carlson on the ice. Tocek taking the face-off. Loses the draw and then loses an edge. Esslinger with the good pressure manages to prevent the exit and potentially turn him over. Tied up on the far side boards, 3 Whitehawks, 2 Saber skaters. Puck kicked out of there, but Tocek with good pressure still holding up the show. Luth tried to backhand it back to Carlson and didn't have enough on it. Ended up getting on a Whitehawk stick and gets shot all the way down the ice for icing. John Choi onto the ice to take the draw along with Huberty, Anderson, Schuler, and Chloe Krisak. 1:48 left. John Choi right back to Huberty. That's the second time in a row that she called that. Puck ended up back to Krisak. Her slap shot went wide. Anderson got the rebound, dropped it back to Schuler, who took a shot that ended up wide. Huberty battling deep. Puck gets rung around the boards. Anderson and Schuler momentarily prevent the exit. John Choi helping out as well, but eventually puck is cleared. Schuler gets it, goes across ice to Krisak. Puck went under her stick. She eventually gets it up to Huberty. She can't hold on to it. Goes cross ice. Nice little backhand off the boards there. Anderson a little lackadaisical, and puck ended up on a Whitehawk stick. Wrist shot hit Anderson's skate. Didn't get all the way through. We got John Choi and Schuler over there pinning it against the boards. 40 seconds left in the period. Whitehawks trying to center. It's going to come out to Anderson. She goes off the boards. That'll die before it gets into icing zone. Goes up to center ice. It's going to be offsides, touch up. Get a couple of fresh skaters for the last few seconds. Telejohn onto the ice. Puck never got out of the zone. Rampart's got it. About 16 seconds left. She spins, ends up getting flattened by number 9 coming onto the ice. Whitehawks, centering pass from Knutson to Rampart, and Rampart's shot ended up hitting the side of the net. That was a good opportunity to end the game. So Sabres win 5-0, out shooting the Whitehawks 31-19. So they've had a couple big wins in this tournament. I can't remember who they're playing tomorrow, but see if it's a little bit better game. We'll see you back here, same time, same place. White Bear Lake tomorrow. They're typically pretty good, so I'm assuming that will be good. Thank you for joining, and we will see you guys tomorrow.